And we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to the show. I'm sorry, started a little bit later. I had to wait up for some stuff to go on. And yeah, we're here today. Manny, it's just me and you here now. Manny, take us through what happened in today's game. S- a draw, but it felt like a loss to me. I don't know, 1-1. What happened, Manny?
Well, before I do that, I'm actually going to go back to what we said on the earlier program and say that I do agree in part with you that this is one of those games that we needed. It was one of those games that we needed to knock us off our perch and make us realize that we cannot, allow the intensity to slip. We cannot play with a lackadaisical attitude and still be proud of ourselves for picking up 3 points because 1 point gained feels like 2 points dropped. So I do feel you. I do believe that in the first half of the game, we started well enough and we did create quite a few chances, forcing Bazunu into some saves. But again, it also does highlight in some way our profligacy in front of goal. And obviously, it had to take boom shakalak, if you will, to score his second goal in as many games with
Oh
his
my
right
god.
foot as well. So just goes to
Yeah.
show that even if even Shaka can score with his wrong foot, at least this could be a sign that he is starting to evolve as a player. Although it's still a long season, there is still a long way to
Yeah.
go, and not that I'm hoping for anything bad to happen. I want to see this form from him continue. I was excited after his performances for Switzerland at the Euros to have him stay for a season, only for him to perform well in patches, but not so well in others. And I just hope this will continue. And then the first half was all us for the most part,
It is all us. It is all us.
and they did come in certainly showing that they could make some runs into our defense and cause a few problems. But apart from having to punch out a corner, I don't really think that Ramsdale had any major saves to make of note, and
Yeah.
he was certainly not tested as much as Southampton fans would have liked. And due to circumstances, I couldn't see much of the second half because I had to run a few errands, so I missed the Southampton goal. And I think the impression that I got from Stephen Featley's watch along was that we allowed the intensity to drop in the second half and we just seemed to flag a bit. And it just goes to show, Tony, that when you start with our typical high pressing style and teams find a way to effectively blunt it or nullify it, it's as if we don't really have that much in terms of a plan B. We can't
Yeah.
obviously can't sustain the high pressing style forever. And when it comes to trying to um, evolve and do something different to try and get a winner, we just were
Yeah.
found wanting. And so
We
Arteta's going to
found
have to
one
go
thing.
back to the drawing board, work with the squad he has. I was also very angry to see him persist with Takahiro Tomiyasu at left back today because, again, it's an example of hubris, I would say. And I said that before you came on Del Boy's stream, which was hosted wonderfully by Warren today,
Yeah.
that you
Big
can
ups,
you
Warren.
cannot you cannot rest on the laurels of seeing that change come off brilliantly against Liverpool and then try to play that every single game, because against Leeds he had more than a few shaky moments, and even
Yeah.
today I think it's fair to say that he wasn't really on the ball, pun intended. And of course, once Kieran Tierney came on replacing Ben White, Tommy moved to the right back position and it looked a little bit more settled. So this is another reason why I said to Warren that we can't really abide by some of the decisions Arteta makes. It may work one time, but it cannot be expected to work all the time. I know that they say that insanity is defined by doing the same thing again and again, expecting a different
Again and
result.
again.
I think when you do the same thing again and again, if you know that the results are going to be different, but still expect the same result, I'm not too sure
Yeah.
what you'd call that. And I was surprised, of course, when Southampton opted to drop Che Adams and go in with a lone striker in
Yeah.
Adam Armstrong.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
That
how do you
formation
drop?
really
Yeah, that formation was surprising, as you would say,
just
but
shocking.
also, yeah, but how also could you drop the guy who scored the winner in the South Coast derby against Bournemouth.
against
It made
Bournemouth.
no sense to me, and I just thought to myself, maybe in retrospect, Hasenhüttl did us a favour, because if Adams had been on the pitch from the beginning,
Yeah.
it's fair to speculate that things could have been even more difficult for us. So it is more or less a point gained under the circumstances, and I'm glad that we have this lesson learnt. And I'd like to think that now Arteta will sit down with the boys and say, look, it's not enough. We have to improve our performances. We cannot expect to get away with this all the time. We've been
Yeah.
lucky to grind to get wins against other games, but this game we've been, denied. Now we have to really change our approach if we want to really challenge for the title.
Manny, I don't know. Uh, at the time, I was with Northside. We're doing a watch along, with Northside and other crew. Fuad was also in and out of it, and then the OC Gunner was also there too. So, I'm amongst, guys that are very, how do I put it now? Like they want to see a performance. That's it. They don't want to see any type of slip ups in any way. So, and then we had a very, very good first half, having a good ball possession for about first half possession was 69-31. That that's how that's how amazing our first half was, at the time. And then slowly, okay, after we scored, we allowed them back in the game. It wasn't just really like maybe it was in the second half that they started, understanding our patterns of play and trying to catch us, on the break. But the thing there was that uh, we kind of like relinquished intensity of the game at the tail end of the first half. They were getting back into the game. They were, passing the ball quite frequently, of course, in their own half, and then extending towards the midfield. And when they got back for the next, for the 5 minute half game, they just turned it up a notch. Started passing the ball frequently, started overheating the midfield, and suddenly placed more men in the midfield to actually outgun Thomas Partey. And even when Thomas Partey found spaces to be able to hold on to the ball in the midfield, you can see he gave it more times than he actually even retained it in the middle of the park, and it was just so empty. And the way they kind of like overpowered us, and Odegaard wasn't even really there. It wasn't really much of a shield for Thomas Partey to at least cover him up when he was having that downtime. To what extent would you blame our lackadaisical midfield play for what happened today?
Here's the thing. I mean, obviously, with Southampton being set up to try and stifle us, we had an idea that the midfield would be key. And I remember doing a preview show where, obviously, in the absence of Ainsley Maitland-Niles, who was ineligible to play against us, they had to bring on Diallo.
Yeah,
And I must admit that when it obviously again we see that Southampton have been more dependent on James Ward-Prowse to try and
yeah.
provide them a bit of impetus, and he actually didn't have too bad a game. There's a
Hmm.
part of there's a school of thought which says that apart from maybe taking a few free kicks, Ward-Prowse doesn't really do very much, and a lot. But the truth is, a lot has been expected of him this season. He's been expected to captain the team, basically hold the midfield together, and also be the driving force. And I think now, at least, that Sam Hasenhüttl had that 4-4-2 formation in previous games, he would have been satisfied with that. Obviously, I think he felt scared about our midfield and felt that he had to go to effectively a 4-5-1, which perhaps would have, um, you know, sort of transitioned in some ways. It was more of a 5-4-1, actually, was transitioned into a
Yeah,
three
yeah.
five two, if you will. And
Hmm.
certainly we did perhaps we started to look a little bit overrun in the midfield, and that's also an example of how when you play your first team as far too often and give them more and more minutes, they will effectively start to get fatigued, and that sort of midfield. I wouldn't say strength, but certainly stickiness, and they sort of have a lot of cohesion. They try to stifle you in a way, and that's the hallmark of the way Saints play. And certainly with
Yeah,
Diallo and Ward-Prowse in the middle, they did succeed to that extent. And obviously, the wingers were able to come in and do a bit of a decent job. Partey once again. I mean, obviously the way he might have felt a bit isolated and started giving a few balls away. He's also
yeah,
starting to get fatigued. It really is. And again, this sort of segues back into our poor business in the transfer market. We can't let Mikel Arteta off the hook for this one. Because what
hmm,
angered me again was how he complimented himself and the club by saying that we should be credited for not making a panic buy, when we all know that on the last day of that transfer window in September, they fell over themselves, tripped over themselves to try and get Douglas Luiz to sign for us. And
yeah,
at the end, he ended up staying at Villa. They brought two other replacements in Bednarek and Dendonka, and Douglas Luiz has now signed a new contract. So that was the worst thing we did, because I believe there was some news about Douglas Luiz possibly saying that he would like to perhaps join Arsenal again. So now that Villa have shown that have basically realised that we were interested in him at the time, would
yeah,
they therefore offer him to us and ask us to pay through the nose to sign him about 20 million pounds more? I
yeah.
think that ship has sailed, to be fair. But now we're going to have to start looking in the window for players who might want to leave their clubs.
The
Would
clubs,
any
right?
player would any player want to leave Leicester though? Because there's been talk about possibly either getting someone like a Madison or a Tielemans. I personally think Ndidi would be a good buy, but again, if the team now starting to recover and hopefully potentially finishing a little bit higher up in the table, there's no
Yeah,
way that Rodgers will want to let any of his players leave. He
leave.
valued Fafana very highly, but was eventually forced to let him leave. I don't think that'll happen. And as for another central midfielder, I certainly think someone like Sangare from PSV, who we played in midweek, would be a decent option as cover. I thought
Yeah,
he might not exactly have been dominating, but he definitely can do a job
or
away
even
from
Rodriguez,
PSV.
Rodriguez from Real Sociedad from Spain. Well, he should be considered in this. He's
Are
tall,
you
he's
talking about
bulky.
Joaquin Sanchez Rodriguez?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Rodriguez. Yeah.
I don't think that'll happen because he's into his 40s right now, and I think he has his sights setting on retiring at Real Betis, so that's not going to happen.
No, not Real Betis, Real Sociedad.
Oh, Sociedad. Then that could be an option. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously someone a bit stronger, but mind you, we brought Thomas Partey from Atletico Madrid. He didn't
Yeah.
have a bad injury record there. He comes over here and has an injury record. So would another Spanish midfielder be really desirable at this point? I'm not too sure.
Oh my God. Okay.
Our squad
Money.
depth is so poor, Tony. That's the problem.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, I recognize this fact. I recognize this fact because see, it hurts me. It really do hurt me that at this time that we will want to make a change, and then Nketiah is coming on. See, I love the kid. I have a soft spot for that kid, but I cannot take my soft spot and use it to overshadow the greater good for the team. Yeah, we need an extra striker. We need an extra striker, and not just an extra one, but a competitive one that will come in and give Gabriel Jesus a fight for his money. I think it's too comfortable, and mind you, he missed a lot of opportunities to put us up today. Lots and lots of opportunities were begging to be converted. Could you take us through this journey today about those misses from Gabriel Jesus and what should have happened if we took those chances available to us in the first half.
I mean, in a nutshell, I guess all I can say, Tony, is that Gabriel's failure to score in the first half, when we had more of the chances and more of the possession, I think that was probably due to him not really being in the right position at the right time. I believe there was one chance where he could have scored, but I think one of the defenders sort of brushed
Yeah,
it off
that's
him, and so he wasn't. I wasn't going to blame Jesus for that because that was good defensive work. And then, of course, it fell to Granit Xhaka, who tried an audacious left-footed shot from a fairly tight angle that was probably not going to beat Gavin Bazunu. And, of course, the
yeah.
Irish goalkeeper made the save. And I guess it's fair to say that here's the thing: Jesus was brought to Arsenal as a replacement for Alex Lacazette. And the reason why we talk so much about what else he lends to the team in terms of his assists and his work rate, I think the difference between him and Lacazette is that at least Jesus can score more goals. And when Lacazette was given his chance near the end of the season, he never took any of those chances. And of course, now
Yeah.
that he's back in France, he's scoring for fun, although we need to see how long that continues. But Jesus, for his part, has been an improvement on Lacazette. Our biggest problem is we haven't adequately replaced Aubameyang, and people who think that Eddie Nketiah is the replacement simply because he now has the number 14 jersey, they need to look inside themselves. You know, Aubameyang has this tendency to obviously. He also struggles at times with missing a few goals if he isn't opportunities, if he isn't
Yeah.
quite in the right
Yeah.
position, if he
Yeah.
isn't quite
True.
able to get a foothold on the game. But the thing about Aubameyang is that he has more hits than misses, and he knows how to get into position to be able to score. He knows how to make the most of some opportunities he gets, and you have to accept that he will have more hits. And obviously, if he had been managed better, if he hadn't have been moved in different positions, if he hadn't have been, tactically sort of upended by Arteta, if you will, then I'd like to think that he would have scored a few more goals, and especially given that season when he had to leave. He did score in the North London derby early in the season and put in a captain's performance. Did his
Yeah.
form taper that off? And was he suddenly deemed so poor a striker that he simply couldn't be trusted to play a role for us as a player? Take the captaincy off him. I have no issues with that. It was the right decision. If there were so many problems with his timekeeping, then fine, let's do that. But ostracize him when we still didn't know about what happened at that in that trip to France was completely unfair. But again, the point is coming back to centre. We still haven't replaced Aubameyang. Golden Boot win in his first season. Second season, full season, he won the his first full season, he was a Golden Boot winner. Second full
Yeah.
season,
Sure.
he, of course, won as the FA Cup. So he was on his way to leaving an impact or a legacy with us, and obviously he had that taken away from him. But let's not assume that Eddie Nketiah is that right replacement. So we need, obviously, a more prolific striker. Aubameyang was our last prolific striker. And who can we possibly get in the transfer market? Which striker could we possibly lure from either any of the top English clubs or any of the top European clubs to be willing to come and play for us to help us try and get over the line when it comes to Champions League qualification and maybe moving a bit forward? And of course, back to the question that was asked, obviously we'd like to see more success, but unless we can strengthen in January and get the right players we need, we're not going to have a chance. Am I saying that we should do a Nottingham Forest and buy a complete squad? No, I am not. But I am definitely not saying that we should adopt a penny wise, pound foolish approach by not getting any panic buys and trying to trim the wage bill. And you wouldn't need to trim the wage bill if
Yeah.
you didn't buy these players for at astronomical prices and sell them off for peanuts in comparison. So I think on another subject, Arsenal needs to be subject to a full audit. But in a nutshell, we need to have good defensive midfield cover. We need to have a prolific striker. I also want to see another good quality centre back who will come into the team and provide a little bit of competition for Gabriel, who needs it. And we need, and if Tomiyasu is deemed
Oh
to be
yeah,
not
oh
decent,
yeah, Gabriel. Oh yeah, Gabriel. Gabriel needs to see money. It's now
yeah,
a must. It's now a matter of urgency. We need a centre back to come and be a competitive replacement down there, a like for like replacement down there in that centre back position. I feel we're beginning to lick more goals from that centre back area. In nowhere am I tearing down Gabriel Magalhaes. Sometimes you just have to call a spade a spade. You know, his performance this season has been shocking. And even apart from that, today, Manny, today, uh, when Armstrong was coming up with that ball after Mohamed has passed the ball to him, Elinotti has passed the ball to him, Gabriel tucked his hands behind his back and was ball watching. It was literally ball watching. Like it was ball watch. I prefer even a Tomiyasu that got dribbled on the way. At least they put a body in. But Gabriel just tucked his hand, just tucked it beside him and it did nothing. It was absolutely shocking. And even Ben White, the way I, today I opened my mouth. The only reason why I'm not so mad over the top is that Spurs at least have lost today. So all the teams around us are losing this point, and Arsenal that should be getting this point and gaining momentum and grinding out more points. Well, this is the story. This is where we're in. Tommy, Singh, you're welcome to the show. I knew you were watching the sports game.
You guys okay? How are you guys?
All good, all good. How are you,
Well,
son?
at least you
Not,
can see me and Manny were not shedding
not good,
tears
man.
yet. So,
We were shit today, bro. Not good, man. We were shit today, bro. Especially the
Tommy
second.
C, Tommy C, Tommy C, take us through what you felt about that game, like
Fuck.
what you deeply
First,
feel about that,
first
without no
half,
curse words, please,
huh?
without no curse words.
First half, we were good. We were all over Southampton. Good goal by Xhaka. Obviously, because obviously I haven't been critical of him, man, because he's been annoying me for the past 6 years, isn't it? But he's proved me wrong with Xhaka, so he gets my. I've praised him, and he gets my praise. But second half,
Yeah,
bro, we were so sloppy, bro. Partey sloppy. Southampton were the better team. You know what? We got what we deserved. We were lucky to come away with a point. I didn't think we were that great. We were lucky to come away with a point. Southampton should have won the game, but they were all over us. We were hanging on for a point, bro. The way they was coming at us as well. They were proper coming at us, man. So we won good today. And for me, it's 2 points dropped. Like
yeah.
these players annoy me. If you want to challenge for the league with no disrespect to Southampton, you have to win these games. If you want to challenge, you have to win. These
Yeah,
players,
you have to be winning these games. Actually,
you
in
don't they,
fact,
they
you
don't
have to be winning these games.
they
These
don't care,
games
bro.
have to be closed.
They don't care. These players, they look like they're on holiday. They don't. They're thinking, do you want to win the league? Do you want to challenge? They were shit today, bro. Shit, and that ruined my birthday's tomorrow. And that ruined my birth. That ruined my early birthday. They
I'm
ruined it for me.
sorry about that. Yeah, actually, Manny,
They
tomorrow
ruined
is
it.
his birthday, and
Oh,
I was really praying that Arsenal would give him a win
They
today.
ruined
So
it, bro.
when I'm wishing him a happy birthday tomorrow, it to see Mary, and he could
Yeah,
at
man.
least
I'm
be
28
genuinely
years
happy
old.
happy.
birthday,
So yeah.
Tommy.
Thank you, man.
Happy
They,
birthday, Tommy! God bless
thanks.
your new day. Yeah.
But yeah, Partey was sloppy, bro. He kept on giving the ball away. I thought Saliba was poor today. He gave the ball away as well a few times. I'd probably say about a few times. And Tommy Yasu, I don't like him playing left back. Bring back Kieran Tierney or Zinni back. Tommy Yasu is not a left back. It does not work for him. And and Gabriel, I'm just not a fan of the guy because I don't even know what it means. I don't even know why he got a new contract. For me, he's shit, bro. I just don't rate him. I don't think, and he's overrated for me. And you know what? Jesus, poor today. I can see why Pep sold him. Not good enough. He wasn't good enough. I can see why Pep got. I can see why Pep sold him. I can see why. The guy was
Wait,
non-existent today.
Tommy, wait,
I
Tommy.
can see why Pep
So
sold
now,
him.
so now you
Sorry.
wait, Tommy. You mean Gabriel Jesus is now shit, right?
I didn't say he
He
was
has
shit. I
a
said
bad,
he,
he
he
has a
was shit.
bad performance today.
He was shit
I've been
today.
critical of him today,
He was
but
shit
do
today,
you mean
man. Go on.
he's a total waste of space right now?
No, no, that's not what I mean. But he was shit today. Shit. I can see why Pep sold him. I can see why Pep sold him because he wasn't good enough for Man City. That's why they got Haaland and Alvarez. I can see why Pep sold him. Because for me, he needs to up his game. Because I want 20 goals from him. He needs to get me 20 goals.
Yeah,
This is
I
this is
totally
this is
agree
not
with
this is
that.
no laughing matter. We need to get to. Well, like I said, we were lucky to come away with a point, bro. We were hanging. Please, we have to take it on the chin and move on. It's not the end of the world. Obviously, we're 2 points clear of Man City, which is not looking good for us. I was looking forward to
Yeah.
getting 4 points clear, but like I said, we were shit today. We were lucky to come away with a point. Southampton should have won the game. I thought we were lucky to come away with a point. Got what we deserve. We got what we did deserve. Frustrating, man. Not good enough.
Manny, you've already heard the frustrations of our podcaster here, Tommy. See, to what extent can we blame other wingers for this game, because it's not just only Gabriel Jesus that will be taking the brunt, of the criticism. Gabriel Martinelli should be in there at the forefront, getting the heat, getting the criticism. Also today, Saka, yeah, he has saved us time without number, but of course today he should have taken one or two chances that he got. To what extent can we bring these other guys in for constructive criticism today?
When you say the other guys, do you mean the substitutes or the bench
No, no,
players, or
no.
what do you mean?
No. I mean, we'll get there because there's a whole lot of problems that we had today. That's why I'm attempting a therapy right now in this post-game show. I'm talking of Saka and Gabriel Martinelli because Gabriel Martinelli today, trust me, uh, Gabriel Jesus was even getting to the balls to actually take shots. He was actually there missing the shots. It's totally okay, good and okay. It's not his day. But people like Gabriel Martinelli should be in the game, grabbing it by the scruff of the neck and taking it. See, when you have pace and when you have the power to be able to run at defenders, you're meant to make use of that skill. But today, Gabriel Martinelli was totally not in that game today. Saka didn't really impose himself today to that Southampton back four. I really do think they should be taking part of the blame, apart from Gabriel Jesus not taking his chances with those goal scoring opportunities that was provided for him.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, obviously, we can look at that objectively and say that yes, they could have done better. But it also must be said, Tony, that there were more than a few instances in the game when, they actually did look good with some runs into the box. I mean, certainly Martinelli had looked really good in the first half. He had a few runs in and could have had a chance or two. Saka as well was a thorn in the Southampton defence. And let's not forget, had it not been for a very contentious refereeing decision, which many of us disagreed with, he could very well have earned a penalty. So I am not about to completely say that. I mean, I'm not going to absolve them of blame, but I'm definitely not about to say that they should be given a bigger share of the blame, because here's the thing. These two young boys have been two of our best players this season. That's not
Yeah,
being sentimental or being
it's
charitable to
true.
them in lieu of their age. That is a fact. Okay, and I just want to take a look at the the number of appearances that they've made so far this season. So, if we were to take a look at the name in question, we can see that. Yeah, so Martinelli has basically started all 11 games in the league so far, and
Yeah,
he's also made two starts in the Europa League and two substitute appearances. As for Bukayo Saka, same thing, 11 starts and 2 plus 2 in Europe. So these two boys are two young boys, and they have been, with their high energy and high tempo, they have been playing week in, week out, and have basically made appearances in every game. The big
yeah,
problem we have here is that we are asking these kids to play almost every game when in reality they need to be trained and coached and given adequate rest. And I'm not about to buy this idea that, they don't need any rest, because look, the midweek games, in theory, should be games where, Nketiah should stand up and be counted, and we should have other backup strikers coming in to do the job. So why is there nothing in that respect? And there is going to come a time when these boys are going to feel knackered. And mind you, if they feel so knackered now, what's going to be their condition when after the World Cup games are going to come thick and fast? Europa League, Premiership, domestic cup games. Where is our adequate backup? How are we managing the squad? And these boys are tired and they do need a bit of a rest. And you cannot expect them to continue to play with their high energy, high pressing style for every single game. Because look, one of these days will come when they're going to, tweak something, and then they'll be out for a little bit of a longer time. And do we want to run the risk of that? No, we don't. So we can't just I mean, obviously we can criticize them and say that we could expect a bit more from them, but when they have produced in more often than not in games, and certainly in this game they were good for many parts, I am loath to give them too much criticism. And we need to make sure that the experienced players stand up and be counted, and that's also their responsibility. They definitely need to do that. And if they're not willing to hold their hands up and say, yes, we could do better, why should we, as fans, round on the youth in our team who have done well? And before you get me started on Eddie Nketiah, I will round on him because, frankly, aside from 2 goals in the Europa League, which he was expected to score, his output has been absolutely abysmal so far. So he can be criticised to some extent, even if he was only given a 20-minute run out today. You'd expect him to at least do better with the chances that he was given.
That
And
was given, actually. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm,
It's shocking. Tommy C, can you come in there? But see, I want to look at it like this. With the formation that started up today, Tomiyasu came in to replace Tenny there. He kept
yeah,
his position. Should that have been? We all know that Tomiyasu, of course, is good defensively. This season, it's proven that. He's proven that. Last season, it's proven that to us. But offensively, he gives us nothing to desire. He gives us no joy out there offensively.
yeah,
And then we had a Tenny sitting on the bench, a guy who could actually give us something offensively, and he did not have a starting berth today. Do you pitch this problem on Mikel Arteta, or
yeah,
was he right to do that today?
yeah. Stop playing Tommy Tomiyasu as a left back. He's a right.
yes,
He's a right back, for fuck's sake. This is the problem. This is the problem I have with this manager. He just doesn't get. He just doesn't get it from me. Tierney's on the bench. We know he's injured, but fucking play the guy. Put Tomiyasu back in right back and put Ben White next to Saliba.
Because we're all complaining. See, Tommy, we're all complaining about the
Nonsense.
rotation of players. We need to rotate players. So should he put Danny there to in order for him to get injured again, or should he keep playing him like this? See, these are the arguments in this thing. If we keep trying to overuse these players, if they get injured, then what will people say? So if he used Tenny in this match as the as the first right back to play sorry, the first left back, sorry, to play in that position, then what would have happened if he got injured?
I I understand that. Maybe we need to get another left back. Obviously, I think we need to get another left back, or bring bring Tavares back as well. Even though Tavares is not my cup of tea, but at least give him
But
a chance.
again, how
Give him
can you be
another.
bringing another player again when you already have a Zichenko that's there,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
waiting
but
in the
Zinni,
lines to come back?
I get that, but he's injured though, and I think we should have kept Tavares as well. Even though Tavares is not everyone's cup of tea, I reckon we should have given him a chance. Tavares. I reckon we shouldn't have loaned him.
Man, I don't
But
know.
like I said,
This game
this
just leaves a
manager
bad
annoys
taste
me
in my
sometimes.
mouth.
What Tavares?
No, I said today's game just left a bad taste
I
in my
know.
mouth.
You see what I don't get about Arteta? This manager annoys me. When you stop playing Tommy Arsenal as a left back. You did, yeah, you did it against Liverpool. It worked. We beat them. But stop doing it
exactly,
every time. It's not going to work, fam. Like, change. You got to switch
exactly.
up. Is it? You see Manny. You see Manny. He's got to switch it up a bit. He's got to play Tierney next because we got Forest at home next week. And they beat Liverpool on yesterday. They're going to give us problems next week. We need to play Tierney against Forest at home next week. I put Tommy Arsenal at the right back. He's not Tommy Arsenal. He did nothing. He did nothing going forward for me today because he's not a left
Yeah,
back.
yeah, but of course that's always been part
Nothing.
of his game. He gives us nothing offensively.
We
That's
need
my
Zinni
problem
back.
with Tommy Yasu. He offers us nothing going forward.
Exactly.
So for me, I would have preferred Attorney to start that game
Yeah.
and at least give us something going forward. We get the kind of goals we want to get to, at least 1, 2, 3 in the first half. Then in the second half, then we bring a more defensive-minded Tomiyasu to come and show the defense
Exactly.
to the end, and at least see us through the game, close up shop, and end of story. I don't understand. It's easy.
And to
You
be
know, see if we if see Tommy and
yeah.
my brother, if Arsenal is to get in touch in close proximity to that title. These are the kind of games we ought to be winning. There's
Yeah.
no, we don't have to close our mouths in this. We have to be outspoken about this. There's no positive or negative, nothing like that
Mm,
here. These are the kind of games we have to be taking and grabbing by the scruff of our necks. And in fact, we shouldn't even be grabbing it by the scruff of the necks. It should be easy games for us. Southampton have conceded 18 goals, with
yeah.
Arsenal's goals today 19. Those guys have shipped in 19 goals this season.
Yeah. But
We
to
should
be
be
honest,
putting these guys on toast.
But to be honest, yeah, our record at St. Mary's hasn't been good for the past few seasons. We don't travel well at St. Mary's. Even under Wenger and Emery, we never really used to win at St. Mary's. So to be honest, yeah, people say
But should that
nil,
hoodoo be
3-0.
hanging
I
over
predicted
us?
the 1-0
We're first
Arsenal.
in the league. We should be putting them on toast. It doesn't matter if it's St. Mary's. We
Yeah,
should
but
be
we haven't
beating
won.
these people
The last time we
legitimately.
won there was 2021, the 3-1. But we don't travel. We don't do well at St. Mary's. But a point, we have to take a point, and it's not what we want. That's ruined my early birthday. I wanted the 3 points, but we'll take a point. It is what it is. But like I said, we got what we deserve. We were lucky to come away with a point. We got what we deserve. Last week we should have lost the Leeds. If Bamford scored that penalty, we would have lost the lead. We should have lost the Leeds last week. We were lucky to beat Leeds. And we got lucky to get a point against Southampton. Let's be real. And like I said, with Jesus, he needs to fix up because I need 20 goals from him. No, like I said to
Yeah,
people,
yeah, I
no
really
wonder Pep
do.
sold him. No wonder. Pep got rid of him because he wasn't good enough for them. No wonder. He's frustrating
But
me.
I want to be careful about, kind of like hitting Gabriel Jesus, because it's not just him. It's not just him.
I'm not saying it's Lacazette.
It's
I'm
a
not saying it's
collective
Lacazette part
performance,
two.
actually.
I'm not saying he's Lacazette part two because he's people keep calling him Lacazette part two. I'm thinking that's a bit harsh, man. Relax. He's not
It's
Lacazette part
very
two.
harsh. Yeah.
Lacazette is a bang average player, shit, bro. And I'm happy Lacazette is gone anyway. But like I said, we need another striker, man. I want to get an Osherman or an Ivan Tony or maybe
Yeah, Oshime at this
or
point,
Mbappe, bro.
Oshime is a good, is a
Yeah,
good shout for that position.
yeah. I want
Like,
Mbappe as well.
I'm even throwing the kitchen sink on, all up on it. I even want Mitrovic. I want
Mitrovic would
Mitrovic.
be good as well.
I want Mitrovic. I was telling some other guys out there that we need even a Mitrovic.
I
If
want
you give
Mitrovic.
Mitrovic 100K, he would come. He
Would
would
he
come.
would he leave though? Because Fulham are playing well, and Fulham are
Bro,
in the
if you
championship by 8.
see
Marco Silva did a
if you
good job.
give Fulham even 30 million pounds, they will take it for him because they
Uh,
believe he's
uh,
old.
in a- in a-
They will take it.
Look at the thing. Look at Willian. Willian's balling, and he
Yeah,
was shit for us last
William
season. Look at
scored
Willian.
today. Yeah, that was shocking too.
Yeah, and
Oh my
when we
god.
had Willian, I didn't. He wasn't. He was a panic signing for us, Willian. But he's balling. He scored against Aston Villa when they sacked Steven
He
Gerrard,
scored today. But okay,
and against Leeds as well.
Manny, are you there with us?
Yes, 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 very much here. I've just switched off the camera for a minute, but I
Yeah.
am still here. I hear everything you say. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, Manny, to what extent would you blame Mikel Arteta for the tactics today? Because we need to apportion blame to someone. Someone needs to take the blame for today. An inquest needs to be, set up for what happened today. Because you cannot tell me that a team that had 69% of ball possession in the first half, 69 to 31 in St. Mary's of all places, you couldn't score goals, you couldn't keep your lead, you couldn't help your midfield, your lead midfielder to show up the midfield when you needed to do that. At least to even bring in a Lokonga to even help him partner with him down there in the middle of the park to show up the kind of pressure that he was getting from Ward Prowse and the rest of them, like El Nusi Mohammed, who was just having instant access through that midfield, and Thomas Partey giving the ball away, of course, due to pressure. To what extent does Mikel Arteta take the blame on this?
The answer to your question is this. He obviously should take the blame because he keeps playing his first team for it's basically starting every single game. And the worst part is he just doesn't seem to be willing to recognize the issues that are there in front of him. He seems to be willfully ignorant about the fact that Some of his players clearly are tiring and not able to really get into the game and get much of a foothold on the game as much as he would like. And yet the problem is he feels as though he's got to justify his selections because, after all, he was the one who made them. And again, the hallmark of a good manager should be the humility, accept that today you went a little bit wrong and things didn't go quite well, and so we have to make a change. And so that's how you do it. It might be, being a little bit reactive. It might be doing something after the fact, but at least you're also being a little bit proactive in ensuring that the mistakes that were made today will not be made in the very next game. And I don't know if you caught us. I think you might have been there in the debate. Warren and I were speaking. No, actually, that was before you came on. So
Yeah.
Warren and I were speaking about the possibility of Arteta changing the formation to 4-4-2 proper, which would mean that it would give Jesus a chance to score some goals as part of a two-man strike force
Strike
alongside
force.
Gabriel Martinelli. Let's say if you were to have Jesus working on the right and Martinelli working on the left, the two of them would combine together and make sure that they would have most of the service. And of course, that would mean potentially that Bukayo Saka, instead of keeping him on the right, you'd have him sort of playing on the left, not as so
Yeah.
much a wing back, but an actual left winger. And
Yeah.
bear in mind that because he is so incorrigibly left footed, he has an absolutely beautiful left foot, which he showed by being able to flight one or two crosses.
Yeah.
Um, why would you simply want to take a guy with his sweet left foot who cannot really make that quick turn to be able to put it on his left when on the right wing? When he plays well on the left wing and has played a lot of his best football while interchanging with Martinelli on the left wing. And it's also no coincidence, Tony, that when Aubameyang came into the team, he was
Yeah.
scoring goals, not as a lone striker, not as part of a three-man strike force, but as a centre forward, as one of two strikers. He and Lacazette would combine together. So for Arteta to sort of continue to use this formation in the belief that it would really work well for his strikers, I mean, he definitely has to take some sort of blame over here because although Jesus and Martinelli did start the season quite well, the goals have started to dry up. It happened with Aubameyang when he was in the last full last season with us. He
Yeah.
would be switched from the centre to the left, and on one occasion he was deployed as a left wing back, which was absolutely outrageous. So it seems to me that again, for the sake of sticking to his formation and sticking to his method and his willingness to want to try and eagerness to try and want to prove people wrong, he's actually hurting a lot of his players and really decreasing their level of output. And a formation change might be the only way that some of the players can have a fresh change and maybe hope to move forward. But knowing Arteta as well as we do, Tony, I don't. I certainly don't see him making that change, and I know you don't either. I think there's a lot of introspection which has to be done on Arteta's part. He has to take a
So,
look at his tactics and see if they're
Ateta takes
working.
the blame for you today, right?
I wouldn't say he takes all of the blame necessarily, but certainly at least 50% of the blame. Because again, starting with Tomiyasu at left back, when frankly he didn't offer anything either.
Going
Um,
forward.
Never mind going forward. Even defensively, he wasn't really as well heralded as people would
Yeah.
claim him to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
So
He
why
didn't.
would you do that when you have an accomplished sort of cultured left back in Kieran Tierney on the bench? It's utterly stupid, and it speaks of a lack of faith in Tierney. And I would be really angry with the manager if I were in Tierney's shoes right now.
Shout out to everyone in the chat. Of course, I'll soon start reading the chat later on. Shout out to you, BX Gunner. Shout out to you, Miss Melina. I can see you in the chat. Anthony Herbert, big ups to you. Amy Baba, big ups to you. Craig AFC, big ups to you. I can see your chat. CFCOG, CFC Dan, thank you for coming to the show. You guys, thank you. One Touch TV, our partner station. Thank you for coming to the show. Fear of Black London, Ron Maguire, Other Time Podcast, Feed the Prey, you guys, thank you very much. Tanya Have, thank you very much for showing up. And Brent James, who's our new subscriber, thank you very much. And, just keep watching, man. Keep watching. Today, of course, the draw looks like a loss, but we're just going to take it, and let's just keep matching and see where it takes us to. Um,
Take it and move on,
Tommy,
innit?
see, are you there? Are you there with
Yeah,
us, Tommy?
sure. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Tommy. Now let's go into changes. Now we've heard what Manny said about Mikel Arteta, and seriously, this is a station, this is a channel that I don't care. We have to give constructive criticisms to where it should go to. So if Mikel
Arteta,
Arteta takes the blame today, no problem,
yeah, he's
provided
inexperienced.
he learns from the
Love it, man.
mistakes and just gets us the win next week. See, Tommy, see, with what happened today, are you okay with the kind of changes he made today? The
Uh,
bringing in of Inketia, it had no effect today. Should he have left Martinelli to grind out? Because, of course, Martinelli is that kind of player that,
yeah,
it can at least get you something in one way or the other.
yeah,
Should he have, substituted in for him at the end of the day? And don't get it twisted. Martinelli had a shocking, shocking day today.
yeah. He was poor today. He was dog shit today. And you know what? Nketiah, I told people this guy is just not Arsenal quality. Garbage, garbage player. He's just not that. It's just not. It's just not that. It's just not it for me, bruv. Like he can't press. He can't link up. He can't hold up. He doesn't get in the box enough. What does this guy do? He's not good, bruv. We
Yeah.
need another striker, bruv. This guy is just not it. He's not Arsenal quality. And yeah, I thought for me, Marquinhos should have come home for Martinelli for me. I thought I would have bring Marquinhos on. I would bring Marquinhos on because he's quality, bro.
Marquinhos, right?
Yeah, I would have
Yeah,
brought him
and,
on,
and
bro.
and we never even saw Marquinhos. So, but anyway, let me go to our members here. Of course, our members get priority in terms of reading their comment here. Ryan, I get that back to back losses. I actually predicted they would draw both games. Digi Sports was fuming when I made the prediction. BX Gunner here says something. He says, "Who strikes a ball cleaner, Zaka or Haaland?" Laughing out loud. Zaka looking like Zizou out there. Yeah, of course, Zaka. We'll get into that. Manny and Thomason will give us something close to reality about what's happening with Zaka, at least on the brighter side for today. One Touch TV here says, "Big up the gang. We were wasteful today. Game should have been over in the first half." Exactly what I was saying. Jesus and Saka were very wasteful. Weren't they wasteful, Tommy-san?
We should have been out of sight in the first half. Jesus should have scored one, but he was dog shit today. And you
Yeah,
know what? Yeah,
that's shocking.
this guy is just he was just shocking today. I can see what
It's just shocking today.
I can see
See,
why Pep
I,
sold
I,
him.
res- I respect.
Not good enough.
See, it's not even about Pep selling him. I do respect him as a striker because, see, gone are those days where strikers should be doing traditional scoring. There are other aspects of a striker's game that could actually keep you, in a team. It could be your attitude in terms of your mentality, in terms of how you help the team, how you help the
Yeah,
team grow. If you're not scoring, but you're putting up assists and your assists are even more than your goal rate, I totally respect you. If you're that kind of striker that gives us much in terms of your dribbling skills and your driving skills, you can be able to take one, two, three defenders out
yeah,
of the equation
exactly.
while leaving, the 18-yard box empty for other oncoming players, midfielders like Granit Xhaka, like Saka, like Thomas Partey from the midfield to come in and slotting those goals in. If you're doing that, I do respect you. The truth of the matter is that Gabriel Jesus has been doing that from the start of the season, but his
Yeah,
game has dropped ever since he played against Liverpool. He just seemed to have dropped it up,
yeah,
a little bit. And I'm not comfortable with that. But again, hallmarks of a good striker is that you're getting chances. You apart from people to create those chances for you, you're getting in and getting those chances even all by yourself. And Gabriel Jesus did that today, got opportunities for himself, but he's not scoring. And this is a very, very big problem. We need goals. We need goals, 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 and more goals. Tomisa.
Yeah,
Yeah, like we need goals. We need goals out there.
yeah, we do, man. Um, yeah, because obviously, you know what, Jay Z is obviously. I don't want to be too harsh on him, but he needs to do better, bro. Like he needs to do better because he needs to get me 15, 20 goals. If he doesn't do that, then there's questions on him, bro. There's questions. But like I said, we need
Money.
to be
Okay, yeah,
ruthless
yeah.
on the ball.
Okay, money. What will you say about those substitutions? Any effect at all? Those substitutions. You're muted. You're muted.
Muted.
Muted. Muted.
Yep, got you.
Yeah.
You can hear me now. So,
Yeah.
obviously, with Czerny coming on for Ben White and Tomiyasu moving into White's usual position at right back,
Yeah.
the defense looked a lot more solid, and it was the same thing against Leeds. Another reason why is because I thought Tomiyasu had a bit of a stinker against Leeds, albeit I wasn't able to see that match, but I did
Crazy.
follow a few text updates, and apparently um, there were a few shaky moments where he wasn't able to have a proper back pass, I believe, and there were some issues there. So obviously, Czerny coming on, he had to come on. The defense looked a lot more solid. I believe if
Yeah.
we take a look at the substitutions again, there are only three made today, which really surprised me because I would like to think that if he could have, he could obviously have brought on one or two more. He could have. I mean, you mentioned Marquinhos. I wouldn't necessarily have started him, but definitely I would have given him a run and have him replace maybe Gabriel Jesus, try and get
Yeah.
into the game. I'm pretty certain that if Partey was feeling fatigued, Sammy Lakonga could have come on. He did bring on Fabi Vieira uh, for Odegaard. I'd like to think that at least the one thing about Vieira is that he will at least work hard to try to get into the game. Whereas in Odegaard's case, in the eyes of many people, he was pretty much non-existent throughout the time he was on the pitch. And I see that Cedric Suarez has come back into the squad, and he has, pardon me, and he has been on the bench for um, the last two or three games. Why keep him on the bench if you don't trust him enough to be able to bring him on to have a few minutes and try and see where he can go? Because of the right backs that we have, he is probably one of the best we have going forward, even if he can't defend. I believe what Liverpool have done is that they've now adopted a system where Joe Gomez will effectively play in defence along with James Milner. Milner will be the right back who doesn't necessarily overlap but is defensively solid. And of course, if later on they want to chase the game, they bring on Alexander Arnold as more of an attacking right back and have him sort of overlap a little bit. Or he can come on without replacing anyone, and the team transitions into a five-man defense with three and two up, three in the midfield and two up front, and Trent can sort of overlap a little bit. So there needs to be a little bit more imagination from Arteta, and we don't see
Mm.
that from him. And again, back to the substitutions. Clearly, Nketiah didn't have that much of an effect on the game. He never really. I don't want to hear any excuses about how he added to the intensity and gave the team some impetus because it's expected if you're a striker that you will provide the impetus. But what is also expected of you is that when you get chances, you're able to make a fist of it, at least force the goalkeeper to make a save, hit the target if you can't score a goal. And Nketiah failed to do that. So three substitutions was disappointing in itself, and the fact that the fact that those three substitutions didn't really have that much of an effect on Arsenal's fortunes after they came on, I think it's even more disappointing in many ways. And I think Arteta is going to have to really look at how his tactics are working and think maybe he should try something a little bit different. It might be facetious to say this after a draw, given that we've been winning regularly. But he might also have to take a look again at how his players are being affected by his new tactics. If Jesus' goals are starting to dry up, is that because more is expected of him as a lone striker, or he isn't really getting the support from the three-man midfield? Maybe a four-man midfield would be better. Sometimes
Exactly.
you've got to think about things.
Exactly. Let's take some of this comment here. Arsenal for life. Big ups to you, my brother. Thank you for joining our show today. Um, Arsenal for life. It's actually a new subscriber. God bless you, my brother. And it says here, poor performance. Poor. Like poor, absolute poor. That second half was, I don't know, shocking. Um Thanks for that comment, Arsenal for life. We'll keep that in mind. He also says here, need to buy Tony and Madison in January.
Mm?
Tommy-san, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, can you answer this? This statement Arsenal for Life made for us. Need to buy Tony and Madison in
Of,
January.
of course, Ivan Tony is a baller. The guy is strong. He can hold up the ball. He can link up the back, and he bullies players, bro. Yeah, the guy bullies players, but the guy is strong. Yeah, I want him and Madison as well, man. Yeah, I don't mind. I like Madison for me. Is for me. Is clear of Odegaard and Vieira. He's better for me. I wanted Madison over before he got Odegaard. I actually wanted Madison over him. 'Cause I don't
Yeah,
really. I just don't rate Odegaard. It's just not my cup of tea. And Madison's clear of him, and yeah,
yeah.
of course, I want.
Tommy,
I
Tommy
want
saying you
Madison.
have a message here from our subscriber here. BX Guna is a great guy. He's American, lovely human being. He follows me on Instagram, and he loves our show too. BX Guna, big ups to you, my brother. BX Gunner, you should be a member of my channel. Come on, man, go become a member of my channel. And he says something here. He says, "When's the last time?" Now, Tommy-san is talking to you.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
is the
yeah.
last time Arsenal were in first on your birthday?
Mm, can't
No.
remember, man. Can't
Well,
remember. I think
irony
it
for
must
you.
be. Can't
Uh,
remember, man. I think it must
um,
be.
BX Gunner, thanks, man. He's going to enjoy it. And he says to you, BX Gunner is talking to you, Tommy. So he says,
Yeah,
enjoy it, 100.
I will, man. Thank you.
And a
I'll
message
enjoy it
from our
tomorrow.
members, Amy Baba, Amy Baba. He says, yeah, Amy Baba is a crest member of this channel. Big ups to you, Amy Baba. God bless you. God bless your family, my brother. And he says something. He says, spot on, Tony. We shouldn't be hanging on starts, not doing well at St. Mary's. We should be beaten. See, it's as simple as that. I don't care about the stats. If you're pursuing a title in the Premiership, you should be putting teams like Southampton on toast. We should be genuinely beating them. We should be coming out from Southampton, St. Mary's, and thinking, yeah, we've gotten 3 points. That's what we
Yeah,
should be
I
doing.
get that,
Because
but
right now we'll be the laughing stock of man. They'll just sit back there and laugh at us. Actually, they'll be laughing right now because now we're now two 2 points ahead of them, and they'll be like, "Look at this goofballs!" Like
but the news, yeah,
genuinely, that's what they'll be
Southampton,
saying to us.
Southampton are good against the top team because I remember when they lost to Man United at their place, they peppered them second half. They beat Chelsea. I remember they beat Man City at home a few seasons ago, 1-0. They're good against and they beat Tottenham last season 3-2 at Tottenham Hotspur. They're good against the top teams. I reckon at St Mary's, it's just we just don't do well there. It's just not it's just not
But should
a
we be like
for us.
just same thing Amy Baba is saying here? Should we be relying on the starts, or we should be playing our game? And
Yeah,
seriously,
but
in
we
that
don't do
first
that
half,
at St
we should
Mary's
have
though.
locked that game.
Yeah,
This
but
game
St.
was supposed
Mary's,
to
we
be
don't
over.
we haven't done well there for the past few seasons. We don't. It's just the way. It's just not a good place for us to win. Like a point's not bad, but we should be. But for me, we should have taken the 3 points because. But to be honest, we were lucky to hang on for. We were lucky to get a point there. We did. Second half, we just dropped off in it, and yeah, they got what the players they got what they deserved, man. Like you can't get we can't be
Yeah,
if you want to like challenge Man City and Tottenham for the title, you
yeah.
can't keep playing shit, bruv.
You can't. You can't. And now that Liverpool are dropping points, they're being whipped in everywhere in England. Being disgraced everywhere in England. We should be using this time to be, amassing this point.
Liverpool,
Anthony
yeah.
Herbert, who is our member, our Crest member, you wanted to say something?
I think Klopp will be sacked. If Liverpool don't get top four,
It's possible. It's possible. I
or
think
he
he
might
would even.
probably
I
walk.
think he would even walk before then. That
Like he's been at Liverpool for 7 years anyway. Like in his seventh season, because I
Mhm.
remember he almost got our Mainz and Dortmund relegated when he was at those clubs. He almost got them relegated. And the
Yeah.
same thing at Liverpool. Obviously, it's gonna fall. It's gonna like fall off as well because he's doing the same thing as he did at Dortmund and Mainz. I like Klopp here, but he's stubborn, and I think he'll walk or get sacked.
I think he'll walk. And mind you, now is the seventh year, the year of the curse. So let's see what's going to happen.
And Klopp's not gonna be at Liverpool for what 10 years. He's gonna go to other clubs. He's not gonna be there for 15, 20 years like
Do you think
Arsenal.
we need him at Arsenal? Do you think we need him at Arsenal?
Well, Klopp.
Yeah, Klopp.
I wanted
If
him.
you have a chance of taking Klopp to Arsenal, what will you
I,
do?
I wanted him after Wenger. I wanted
You
after Wenger. I
wanted all
wanted
the whole
Klopp.
managers. You wanted Ancelotti.
Yeah, I
You
wanted
wanted all of
Conte.
them.
Yeah, Arteta wasn't my cup of tea because he's a rookie. I didn't want
Arteta
him.
was no one's cup of tea. Even me, he wasn't my cup of tea.
Exactly,
Ancelotti
but
was my first choice. But since Arteta came, good and okay. But he had to do a job. He had to clear out the deadwood. He had to work with a team that wasn't really his. I understand what he had to do. So
yeah, but
that's why I don't
finishing
want to put so much
yeah,
blame on him in this
finishing back
case.
to
It's the
back.
board I'm looking at.
Yeah,
So, but
but finishing eighth twice and fifth, you should be sacked. Like you shouldn't. You
no,
can't
but
finish
with which
eighth twice and
players?
fifth.
Which players? Is it with Konscielny at the back, with Mustafi at the back? Sometimes you have to be fair to these coaches. Sometimes,
Yeah, I
with
get that, but
which people, with which personnel are you
Arsenal,
using?
yeah,
So,
but Arsenal Football Club shouldn't be finishing eighth twice and
well,
fifth.
but Arsenal Football Club shouldn't be having Mustafi heading your defense in your
Because we
back four.
because we should have got Ancelotti, we should have got Poch, Allegri. We were linked with them after, and we should have got one of them, not Pep's Waterboy.
Okay,
Exactly. Yeah, and if I can
Manny,
just piggyback off that. Yeah, ask
Yeah.
your question. Go ahead. Sorry, Tony.
no. Continue on that. Actually,
Yeah, listen, and I'm going to say right now, I mean, I'm tired of this narrative about clearing the deadwood because, look, we know basically that we had several players who simply were no longer fit for purpose at the club. I mean, obviously, Mustafi was one of them. We bought him after Euro 2016 thinking he'd be an absolute bargain. That was money spent, wasted, and we'll never get back. So he could have been loaned out over then. It's also quite pertinent to note that a lot of the issues that the hierarchy had with Ozil, for instance, I think it's fair to say that Emery also saw some signs of Ozil being a little bit of a miscreant. I actually wanted Ozil to leave after that World Cup where Germany flopped because that whole incident with Erdogan,
yeah,
it brought about a lot of controversy, which was not really needed, and it sort of gave the impression that Ozil cared more about honoring his Turkish heritage than actually being committed to the country where he was born and the country for whom he played and won a World Cup, for crying out loud. So if he's going to be that disrespectful to Germany, what was the guarantee that he wouldn't have done something, similar with Arsenal? So I wanted him gone as
yeah,
well. And I think Unai Emery, in my opinion, wasn't really naive to the problems that were facing Arsenal because he also wanted to make a few changes to his personnel and bring in a few people that he wanted. But he never received the backing from the board, and I think the board also made their decisions for him in a way. And of course, when things didn't go to plan in his second season, where he didn't even last half that season, he had to leave. So it's tragic to think how if a serial winner like Emery, who could have just been given the respect and the backing that
yeah.
he deserved, and the chance to sort of stamp his ideas on the club and take his vision of the team going forward, where would we be right now? And the very idea that they could just bring in an apprentice like Mikel Arteta, who had no managerial experience whatsoever, to come and work at the third biggest club in the country, I'm sorry, but I never saw the logic behind that. I never really
Yeah,
saw the
bringing a
justification
rookie
in
in
bringing
it.
someone like him in. And if you want to credit Arteta for doing his bit to clear out the dead wood, obviously any manager who came in would have seen that there was a lot of dead wood at the club and would have tried his best to sort of clear them out. But also, he would have gone about it in a way by which he would have gotten the senior players performing for him, the youth would have performed for him, and the clout that a manager like Arteta, Ancelotti would have been unparalleled. Instead, we have Arteta, who doesn't even know how to instill discipline and that culture of discipline in the squad, and who sees it fit to take action against certain players after the fact. So I
And
don't want to
mm,
continue this narrative about how Arteta had to clear out the dead wood because
But he
you know
had to clear it out,
we shouldn't
actually,
we
Manu.
shouldn't
He
be
had to do it.
we shouldn't be
He
finishing
had
eighth
to do
twice and
it.
fifth. Eighth twice. This is Arsenal Football Club. We shouldn't be finishing eighth twice. Like he should have been sacked. Like when we were finishing eighth, he should have been sacked. Last season, he should
So,
have been sacked when we finished fifth. Eight. This is no disrespect to him. He's not. He's not. He's still a rookie. I don't care. We're top. He's still a rookie. Like he's not an elite manager. He's still a rookie, bruv. That's all I can say.
so if he wins the league this season, for
If he
some
wins the
reason,
league, then
if he wins the league this season, would you still classify him as a rookie manager, Manny and Tomitan?
yeah, if he wins it, he's still a rookie. He is.
Manny, if he wins the league this season, would you call him a rookie manager?
still to an extent. I mean, Arsene Wenger won the double with us in his second season. Obviously, he had the experience to
He had
come
a
in.
pedigree at Monaco. That's the
He
thing.
had the, he
Yeah,
had the
yeah.
experience from
Of course, he
France
also
Exactly.
and
he
Japan,
managed in Japan at Nagoya Grampus. I
Nagoya
believe he
Yeah.
had it.
Grampus.
So, I mean, Wenger certainly wasn't a rookie. So,
Now
I
Wenger
mean,
wasn't. He
especially
had experience.
yeah, exactly. So Arteta, for all intents and purposes, given that Arsenal is still his first job, yes, he is still a rookie, and of course, to say that he could still win the league is a very big ask here because if he has a situation where his players clearly are burning out and fading away quite quickly against a team like Southampton, is there any hope of us being able to go the distance against a team like Manchester City, who have their complete arsenal of players who will look to counter our press with the press of their own and also hit us on the counter attack? They're the type of team, Tony, that have a plan A and a plan B, and if
Yeah.
necessary, a plan C. They can even go through the whole alphabet if you like, because that's the type of squad depth they have. We can't even begin to compare with that. So it's all going to hinge, in my opinion, on how we perform against Manchester City home and away and Chelsea home and away. We also have to face Newcastle home and away. And of course, given that they've just beaten Spurs, they
Oh my
also,
God.
I'm not
They are
saying that they could
playing.
necessarily, they're playing quite well. They could also be a bogey team of ours. And of course, we will never forget
Of
how
course, they
they
beat us last
mucked,
season. They will be.
of course, and we can't forget how they mucked up our Champions League chances. So all talk about us potentially winning the league will be premature. We still need to look at ourselves. If Arteta does manage to pull the chestnuts out of the fire and win the league, I will say that he deserves respect. But he still has a long way to go to cement his status as a legend of the club and really, really be regarded as no longer a rookie, but a bona fide manager in his own right. So he still has a lot to do and a lot to prove.
Totally understandable. Hey, we'll go to okay, see, we'll just go to because this is a Crest member of our channel. It's Amy Baba. Happy birthday and best wishes, Tommy Singh.
Thank you so much, Amy.
Unfortunately, Arsenal didn't give you a win to
Exactly.
celebrate your birthday. So,
Thank
but
you.
still, happy birthday to you. And of course, our lovely Miss Melina. Miss Melina.
Thank you, Melina.
Melina, God bless you. God bless you. I know you're a very good friend to Manny. We're all good friends with you too, So
Thank you
Miss
so much,
Melina,
Melina.
God bless you. We
It's
love you.
memorable. Thank
We
you.
love you. And please, if you want to have a good Arsenal channel to, just look up to and just tune into and just watch someone who loves Arsenal do her thing, just go and subscribe to Miss Melina. It's as easy as that. We have Craig AFC, our brother, Craig AFC. God bless you, my brother. And he says here, Arsenal need to spend 150 million minimum in January. Tommy san, how do you see that? How do you see that statement? 150 million. Do you
Yeah,
think the board
we do
will,
because
will, will, will give them
we
150
do
million to
because I
go and
want.
spend?
There's so many players I want to get. I want to get. I don't know. There's not really many defensive midfielders because you know what? I wanted Calvin Phillips when he was at Leeds, but I'm pissed off. We missed out on him, and he's at Man City, but he's on the bench and he doesn't even get played, which I feel for him. I wanted Calvin Phillips, but I want to get Osherman. I want to get I know this sounds crazy, yeah. I want Mbappe, man, which is not gonna happen, but I would love Mbappe.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I want Mbappe.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I want Mbappe. I want Osimhen and Mbappe. I want I want Gana-
Osimhen is a credible shout.
yeah,
He's a credible shout.
I want Gnabry back. I want Gnabry back. We shouldn't have sold him years ago. I want Gnabry back.
In the wing, right?
Yeah, on the wing. I want because I love Saka, yeah, but Gnabry is clear of Saka for me. He's way better than Saka and Marquinhos. But yeah, I want Sane as well. I
Okay.
want Gnabry, Sane. I want Osimhen. I want Mbappe, and I want Max Aaron's right back.
Yeah.
Mm, good
Yeah.
call.
Yeah. Money. What will you
Yes.
say? Arsenal need to spend 150 million minimum, not even minimum by Craig AFC by January. What do you reckon?
Instead of looking for quantity, we have to look for quality. We only need to we need to focus on the positions that need strengthening the most, and focus on them. I would potentially love to get Madison in as an attacking midfielder, but again, as I've said before, there is no way that Leicester, who are looking to recover from their dreadful start and climb high up the table again, will want to get rid of Madison or Tielemans. I now believe that the players are starting to see to trust Rogers again, and he's sort of won their respect, won back their respect in the way.
Yeah.
So why would he want to get rid of any more players who will be pivotal
True.
to Leicester's fortunes this season,
True.
when he can
True.
just keep them for this season and maybe potentially let them go on a free? So
True.
why would we want to go for those players? So that rules out Ndidi. And now we definitely need some good
Thank you,
central
Anthony.
defensive midfield cover. I do believe that someone like uh, Sangare from PSV would be a good option if PSV don't progress further in the Europa League. Or maybe they wouldn't want to sell him because he'll be pivotal to their chances of winning the Eredivisie. So,
Yeah.
I mean, quality players in certain positions will be thin on the ground, especially in January, as a lot of people have said. Um, the prospect of getting someone cheap in the January window, especially given that the World Cup has taken place, will be very less. But I say, you know what? We have to try. We have to keep looking. We have to show that we have a decent eye for talent. We don't
Yeah.
necessarily need to get in the big name, but maybe someone from an unheralded team elsewhere in the Premiership who might want to come and join us would also lend a great deal to our squad. And I wonder, do we bite the bullet and possibly bring Ainsley Maitland-Niles back into the team, the squad, given how well he's been doing with Southampton in the centre of midfield? Maybe he's proving Arteta wrong. Maybe it's time to give him a chance. We need to look elsewhere. What can we do?
Okay, let's just take some of the charts and then we'll go to the player ratings and then we can all go home. Uh, yeah, Craig AFC says here, very big point. Look at what Eddie Howe is doing in Newcastle. Look at what he's doing. It's true.
He turned
Look at
Joe
what he's doing.
Linton
Look
from
at
a
what he's doing. Look at
Eddie
what he's
Howe's a
doing.
top class manager, bro.
Huh?
He turned Joe
Look at
Linton,
what
yeah.
Eddie Howe is doing at
I've always
Newcastle. He
rated
hasn't
Eddie
spent
Howe.
nowhere near the amount what Ateta has. See, we don't even need to even bring Ateta into the picture.
Uh,
See, if your board or your recruiters have the perfect plan, they would bring in the perfect players to play in the club that they want. You need to have a transfer plan.
Eddie
That's
Howe
it.
has that.
Eddie Howe,
He's a good
whether it's
manager.
Eddie, see, whether it's Eddie, see, your board has to be in on it. If your
They got a
board
good
is
board.
not in
Amanda
on it,
Slavely's a good
it's not
owner.
going to work. The Arsenal board is broken. The Arsenal board is broken
That's why Stan Kroenke needs to go, bro. He needs
because
to go out, man.
Guimaraes was ready for the taking. What did Arsenal board do? No, they don't want to bring him in. What did Edu do? No, they don't want to bring him in. Paqueta was ready to play for Arsenal. What were we doing? We were haggling. We were haggling to go get him. Eddie messed it up. That's Edu.
Eddie needs to go,
He
bro.
dropped the ball. Those are the kind of players you have to bring into Arsenal Football Club that
Yeah.
will put in a performance for us. But what did we do? Nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. And these guys go to these other clubs and make them great again. But us, we're left with this.
Because you see with Newcastle, they've got a project. Eddie Howe's a good. They've got a project going on, and for me, they're going to win the Champions League before us. Newcastle, I reckon they'll win the Champions League before us,
No, of
and
course, but again,
they'll
when
win
you
the
have
league
wealth,
in the next
again,
5 years.
when you have wealth like that, with what they've got, when you have that unending stream of wealth, and when you have, okay, at least a good enough coach that also, knows the transfer market, knows what he wants, and you
Mm.
have a board that supports you in the transfer window
Yeah,
too, you
Amanda
get
supports
whatever you want,
Eddie
and
Howe,
you
bro.
keep winning. It's
Amanda
true.
Slavery supports Eddie Howe, so yeah, and Amanda's a good owner as well. Wish we
Yeah,
had her,
she
man.
is. She
Wish we had
is.
Amanda Slavery, man.
She is.
Yeah,
So
I
I
was
don't
pissed off
know.
when they got her because
So
I wanted her as our
does the
new
board,
owner.
does the Arsenal, see, all these things concerns the board. Does the Arsenal board have the cojones? Have they grown the balls to be able to support the manager come January? That's the big question.
Dan
We'll
Kroenke
wait.
needs to get out of my club. He needs to go, man.
We'll wait till then. I really need to see what they have to do in January.
If I was,
That is the breaking point.
if I owned Arsenal, yeah, if I was the owner, I'll be buying Bruno Guimaraes. I'll be buying
Paqueta,
Paqueta. I'll be buying
all these guys
Osimhen, Mbappe, and
going
all
for
that, bro.
Leroy Sané, going for an Upamecano in Bayern Munich,
Get
give him
Gnabry
big
back.
money, bring him in.
Get
You know,
Gnabry back. Stan Kroenke and Edu, they are failing in this transfer window, failing.
okay.
This is why I want them
Chelsea Dan
gone.
says Tony hide on phone call. I'm not hiding. I've been on streams, my brother. I would answer your call when I finish.
And Josh
It's
Kroenke
not a problem. We
doesn't
drew.
do
We didn't
himself.
lose. CFC, Craig AFC says, happy blessed birthday, Tommy, for
Thank you so much,
tomorrow.
Craig.
Tommy, you're getting lots of love,
Yeah,
from
man. Thank you
here.
so much,
Uh,
guys. And you know what? Yeah, Josh
yeah.
Kroenke doesn't do fuck all. He just goes to the games and just watch. What does he? What does Josh Kroenke even do? Josh Kroenke does nothing.
It says we should
Shit.
be
He does
excited.
nothing. He needs to go
Chelsea
as well,
Dan,
man. Josh
Tom,
Kroenke needs to go as
Chelsea Dan
well.
says, Tony, Manny, Tom, big up,
Thank you.
bros.
Big up, man. Big up.
Okay. Happy birthday. That's what he says, Chelsea Dan. Uh, I want Vinicius Jr. from Real Madrid. He's a quality wing.
Vinicius Junior is a baller, but would he leave?
No, do you think? No, that's far. I don't think
No,
he would
no
want to come to
disrespect to
Arsenal.
Arteta. No disrespect to Arteta. He's not going to leave Ancelotti for Arteta. Oh, come on. He ain't
I
leaving
don't.
Ancelotti for Arteta. No
It's not even
disrespect.
about the manager. It's about the club. It's about the
And Real
stature of
Madrid
the
are a bigger
club.
club than us as well, bro. Why would you want to leave?
Definitely.
I love him,
Um,
but it's not going to happen. I think
um,
Mbappe will happen, man.
let's see. Amy Baba Manny has nodded his head. I don't think it's coming.
I love Mbappe, but I'm just dreaming,
Amy
man.
Amy Baba says, I wish the board spent 150 million. However, I doubt it. Uh, Anthony, who is our member, shout out to you, big brother. And he says, Arsenal will only spend 40 million in January if we're lucky. Exactly. That's true. That's what I heard too. Chelsea Dan says, big up here, drew to a dead Southampton team and delusional gonna win the league. Ha 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 ha. Okay. Good one, Chelsea Dan, but we didn't lose. Hey, Thomason, your wishes are so big. Unfortunately, we are aware of our there is no way of transfer dealings. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Tony, my brother, on way to not seriously, we're not scared of you, of you
I want
boys.
Guendouzi back
You
as well. Bring
lost
Guendouzi back.
to Man United and we drew to them. Ha ha ha. Okay, Chelsea Dan.
I
I
want
repeat,
Guendouzi back as
Southampton
well.
won with Arsenal won with dead team. Oh my God, Chelsea Dan is taking the piss against Southampton. Okay, he's actually my friend. Shout out to Chelsea Dan. If you want Chelsea content, please go down there, subscribe to him. CFCOG, my friend, my brother.
That's
Go to
all.
his channel
That's all.
CFCOG. To go subscribe to him. These guys are lovely guys and they support me here too. Money. Hello, Money. Are you there?
Yes. I'm here. I mean, I might have just
Okay.
switched off my camera, but I'm still here.
Yeah, Manny, we're about to go, but still, I just want us to do a player rating and then we just call it quit for today. At
Okay.
least we've gotten to the, to everywhere we need to touch today. Manny, what will you give our goalkeeper? goalkeeper
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit, Tony.
today.
Yeah, if you're asking me about the
Yeah, I
goalkeeper
think I'm back.
Ramsdale, I would. Yeah,
Yeah,
if you're asking me
Ramsdale.
about, yeah, you're asking me about Ramsdale, I probably would give him a six. I don't think he was tested very much.
Yeah,
He probably didn't make too many good saves of note, and of course, he didn't get a clean sheet. But he certainly wasn't Arsenal's worst player on the day. He wasn't really the best either. A six would be a sort of a benchmark good for me, with seven slightly better, and then eight being very good. He gets a six from me, or unless you think that seven would be better.
No, I think that six is okay for me. No player deserves a six in this team today. Even that six is good enough. Like no one deserves it. It's fives. But okay, Gabriel, Tomisa,
Gabriel.
Magales,
Yeah, yeah. Mm, six.
six.
Yeah, I think he didn't really do much for me. I'm not. I don't. I'm not really a fan of him because for me he's overrated and he shouldn't have got that contract. I don't think he's that
If
good.
it's me, I'll be giving him a four. It was moping.
Yeah,
His hands was at
free,
his back
free,
in a
free.
back four.
I've told
It's
people this guy
moping.
is just not. He's just not it. I'm taking Lissandro Martinez
It
over
was
him.
it
Should have got
was
Lissandro
moping
Martinez.
today. It
Shit,
was
bro.
moping in the only effort
Garbage, man.
that Southampton actually really got today. He was moping,
Yeah, he's he's
So
he's poor. He's not. He's
well,
not good enough for Arsenal
yeah,
Football Club. He's a bang
yeah.
average.
You said
I'm gonna
six.
give
It's
him
okay,
three.
but for me,
I'm
I'll give
joking.
him a four.
I'm joking, bro. I was joking. I was joking, man. I'll give him a three.
Good. I'm okay with that.
Three, bro.
Tomiyasu,
We're shit today,
uh,
man.
Manny Tomiyasu.
Tomiyasu. Ooh, where do I even begin? I mean, like it wasn't as if he had necessarily a bad game, but he certainly didn't have a good one, and he really didn't lend very too much going forward. Tidy, perhaps enough in the defense, not like it against Leeds, but I want this experiment of playing him at left back to end, and it can't end soon enough. So I would probably give him maybe a five, maybe because yeah, I mean he was tidy enough in the defense, but never really lent that much going forward, and then had to be switched to right back to enable Tierney to come on. Five for me. I don't think he was really impressive today.
Yeah, I think five is okay. He wasn't really that bad in that back four. There were really some air balls he really got into and captured at the end of the day. And again, it's not his position. I'm all up for playing players in their normal rightful positions, but the way Arsenal is just cutting and sewing this players and putting them in positions that they're not naturally accustomed to, it's becoming a big problem. Put in the players where they really ought to be. Make White a centre back. Make Tomiyasu, just put him in the right role. Make him a you know, I don't know. I don't know. I take that score. Ben White. Tommy.
Ben White. I thought he played well today. Seven. I'll give him a seven. I thought even though I want him back next. I want him next to Saliba, but in the right back, he doesn't make mistakes. He defends, he attacks, his crossing is really 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 good. I think he played well today. I think I'm gonna give him. I'll give him a seven.
Well,
Seven
for
for
me,
me
a,
too.
I thought he
a
played well today.
seven. Where are you guys getting this scores? Were you guys watching the same
He was good
game I
today.
was watching?
He was
Eh,
good
eh,
today. Ben
Ben,
White was
ben,
good.
ben White was even part of the course of the goal because from the position where El Nossi Mohammed was coming
Elyounoussi.
from, El Nossi was coming out from, Ben White had the chance and the opportunity to stop that ball from going to Armstrong from that point because
No, I understand that,
he
bro.
was
But I
coming
thought he was
from
good
the it
today,
was coming
bro.
from the right and was moving towards the left and passed the ball to Armstrong, where he took the ball where Tomiyasu was on the left and dribbled Tomiyasu. Gabriel was just watching and he slotted in the goal. So Ben White should have been putting in a shift right from that right side. He has been good this season, no problem. But I think it's too much for him. It's too seven is too
Yeah,
much.
listen, no, I'm going to disagree, and I'll tell you why. Because look, a lot of us have agreed that when you put a centre back in the right back position, he is going to struggle initially, and even now, especially in the United game at Old Trafford, he struggled with a lot of positional problems and didn't really look as though he could overcome them. But in the chances he's been given, for what it's worth, he has shown that he's willing to overlap and go forward. His defending has improved a little bit. And of course, you could criticize him in part for the goal, but again, that's also a part of. You also have to accept that if you support Arteta's tactics and his approach, you also got to accept that he's a creature of habit. He's not really going to want to change immediately. He sees that things are
Yeah,
still going well. If it isn't broken, why should I fix it? But then if it isn't broken, it doesn't mean that you can't improve it. The only problem is Arteta doesn't see the need to improve it. So Ben White will still continue to play at left back until and unless something cataclysmic happens. And we sometimes have to take the rough with the smooth and accept that he will improve as an overlapping right back, and he will certainly be a little bit more solid. But could he have some more positional awareness? Absolutely. But that's part of the hazard of picking him as a right back. So I think he deserves a 7, and we've seen him not really have good games at the beginning of the season when he was at right back, but he's evolved and performed a bit better. So I think he is worthy of a 7. Tommy, do you agree with me on that?
Yeah. Ben White gets a
yeah.
7. I thought he was good
I'll still
today.
stick to a 5 or 6 for
He
White.
gets a
I'm
7
sorry.
from me.
Yeah, good, and it's okay. I accept that. Thomas Partey.
Thomas
Thomasy, what would
Partey,
you give Thomas Partey?
he gave the ball away second half, but first half he was good.
First half it was good, and I
Second
don't
half he
blame him.
was second half he was poor, so I'll probably give him 6. That's it, because he second half he was.
What will you give him, Manny?
I'll give him a 6-2.
Okay, I give Thomas Partey a 7. I give him a 7 because he was instrumental in that first half. He did quite well. I just felt that we kind of just like left him out there to dry in the second half. Uh, at least we should have brought in maybe a Lokonga to help show up that midfield a little bit for him to help him. But he had no help, so I'll just give him a 7 because it was quite okay. And Odegaard, what do you give to him, Manny? It's your turn.
Odegaard. Odegaard. Oh
Yeah.
dear God.
Oh dear God. That was a good rhyme scheme actually.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, since I'm not American, I can't say God like that to leave it
Yeah,
that
sure.
thing. So, um, yeah, what can you say? I mean, once again, he goes missing when we need him. He probably has one or two good moments, and you never hear from him again. And
Yeah,
I know that I don't know if there are any Monty Python fans in the chat, but I always compare Odegaard to Graham Chapman. Chapman, when the other 5 Pythons would be writing their sketch, he'd be
yeah,
sitting with his pipe smoking, or else he'd have a glass of gin and tonic in his hand. And, he would suddenly pipe up and say that, provide that one moment of brilliance that would make the sketch even funnier. And then you
yeah,
never hear from him the rest of the time they work together. That sort of
yeah,
sums up Odegaard. And here's the thing, Tony. I actually there was a part of me at one point which actually was raving over the talent that he had and the ability that he had. A sweet
yeah.
left foot. As long as he gets into positions and does a lot more and impose himself on the game, he'll be fine. But he just doesn't impose himself on the game that much. And unless he is really able to take the game by the scruff of the neck and really do more as a midfielder, I don't think he will ever be remembered as one of our greatest ever number 10s. Certainly not the way Dennis Bergkamp was, because he could move through defenses. He wasn't necessarily muscular, but he certainly wasn't one to be pushed around. That
Yeah.
goal he scored against Newcastle at St James's Park was testament to how he could, go in and out and basically shake the defense all about, if you will, and make them do the hokey cokey, if you will.
So they're hokey
And
cokey.
Odegaard just isn't going to be that type of player. And until and unless he takes it upon himself to take some more initiative, he will never be respected. Of course, he might be lucky now that Shaka is picking up the slack for him. but
Yeah.
sometime or later he's got to, start pulling his weight. And today
He
as
is.
well was no
Yeah.
different. I probably would give him a 5 because I don't want to be too harsh on him. But look, he has to do a lot more for me.
I keep saying
Okay.
Odegaard just
Okay.
doesn't. It just doesn't do enough. This is why for me, I just don't rate him, man. He goes everywhere where we need him. He goes missing every single time. Fabregas didn't go missing. Cazorla didn't go
Well,
missing. Wilshere, Ramsey. Bring
well,
me,
for me, Odegaard
bring
played
me back.
well.
Bring
Odegaard
me
played well
Cazorla back.
today.
Let me
He even
Cazorla
gave
back.
some good passes for Gabriel Jesus to even win it for us today. But it didn't just happen. You know, again, I
He's
don't know.
overrated, man. I don't think he's overrated.
But what do you give to Odegaard, Tommy sir?
I'll give him a 6, man. Because
Yeah,
he
yeah.
goes
Six is a
missing
more
every
decent
time.
one for him.
Every
Yeah.
time he goes, every time with this guy, he doesn't shoot enough for me. He goes missing. He fluffs his lines every single time. This guy's a joke, bro. Bring me back. Bring me Santi Cazorla back now. At least Santi Cazorla will do a job in this team, bro. Bring me back Santi, man.
Santi
I
Cazorla
want.
should have retired. I think he's a coach now.
He's
Um,
37. I'm saying bring. I'm not saying bring him. I'm saying I'd rather have him than this than Joker Guard. That's his nickname, Joker Guard, because he's such a joke.
okay.
Joker
But
Joker Guard,
see,
man.
but still, he still gave some passes today that
Yeah, it's
should
not enough, man.
legitimately be a goal.
It's not enough, man. He needs to do more for me. It's not enough. It's just not cutting it for me. I've told people
No,
about
I
this.
accept that. I accept that. I accept that. What will you give Granit Xhaka
Overrated.
today?
Xhaka,
Yeah,
I'll give
Xhaka
him a
Bean.
I'll give him a 9, bro. I thought he was fantastic today, breaking the lines, moving the ball, getting forward. And that fantastic goal. I'm giving him a 9.
Okay, a 9. A 9 is decent. Manny, what would you have given to Granit Xhaka?
I would have given him an 8. Certainly,
Yeah,
he. And here's the thing: the reason why Shaka gets so much more credit is that he is basically assuming the role of the de facto leader on the field, albeit without the armband. He's the one who's driving the team forward. But
yeah,
Odegaard needs to start stepping it up. And as Tommy can agree, he can thread in the few passes, but he doesn't really do very much apart from that. And I think even after that Bournemouth game where he scored a couple of goals and had the man of the match award, I think he just, was resting on those laurels and didn't really do too much afterwards. He has to get into the
yeah.
game more. He has to make sure that he can move more. And it's like almost every time Odegaard gets the ball, he loses it. But Shaka, he knows exactly what he's doing. Um, didn't really have too many moments of mischief, if you will, and so I'm not going to be one of those sadists who predicts that he will get sent off in the next game. I say, long may his form continue, long may his performances continue, and even if he doesn't get the captaincy back, he'll still be effectively the real driving force behind this team. And if he gets injured, we're going to be stuck up a gum tree. So I know that
Oh my
Tommy gave him a
God.
9. I know that Tommy gave him a 9. I would
No,
personally
Tommy
give him.
gave him an 8.
Who?
No,
Tommy,
you
you gave
gave
him
Shaq.
a.
No, I
No,
gave
you
him a
gave Shaka.
9.
Yeah,
Okay,
he
you gave
Yeah,
gave
him
yeah, I
Shaka a
gave
9.
him a
9.
Okay,
9.
okay.
Not 8.
Yeah, so
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 9.
I personally would give him an 8, but I think the final decision rests with you. If both of you believe he deserves a 9, give him a 9.
Yeah, me. I think he deserves a. At least a 9. Okay, no problem. I can part with that. Um, Gabriel Martinelli. I really want to hear this one because this guy.
He was dog
This
shit,
guy
man.
has been one of the, he's been one of those players that have carried us, this season and
Mm.
part of last season, but the
Yeah, yeah.
drop, the
Carried us, but
the abrupt drop in form in the last 3-4 games, it's shocking. So,
good. But he's
Tommy,
just not.
what do you give to him? Manny, you also have your say.
Martinelli, I'll give him. I thought he was poor today. He didn't really trouble. He didn't really trouble. I think Walker's Peters, but he didn't really trouble him today, or he didn't really trouble him today. So I'll give
Yeah.
Martinelli. I'll give him a 5, man. He was poor today, man.
What do you say to that, Manny?
Me, I actually thought that he started off quite well. and certainly looked quite
Ooh,
lively in the first half. But in the second half, he also tired quite a bit. I think it's also fair to say that the defence have found him out. But again, you can't keep depending on these young, energetic players like Martinelli and Xhaka to keep carrying the team forward.
True, true,
One of
true.
these days, they are going to start to struggle a little bit. I'm
Yeah.
not going to be harsh on him, so I'm going to give him 6, and I think I'd also give Saka maybe a 6 or a 7 because even Saka was also making some beautiful runs into the penalty area, and he was
Yeah.
also the victim of some very conscientious, controversial refereeing decisions. So
yeah.
yeah, like I said, Martinelli gets a 6 from me. I am not going to, uh, mug him off like that.
Tommy-san,
Would
what
be
will you
fair.
give Saka today?
Saka, I thought he was good today. I'll probably give him.
But he didn't take his chances. He
Yeah,
had one or two chances.
the problem
He
I
should
have
be
with Saka,
burying those
the
chances
problem I have with
if you need
Saka,
the title.
the problem I have with Saka, Tony, he's finishing it winds me up. It annoys me. He needs to finish. You're a winger. You have to be clinical as a winger. He just doesn't do that for me. But he was good today. But I'll give him a 7. I'll give him a 7.
Okay. Manny, you okay with the 7, right?
Perfectly okay with a 7.
Good. And for the
It's
last
Jersey
one,
on.
it's both of you. Gabriel Jesus is the big one. Gabriel
Oh my
Jesus
God, guy.
lost a lot of chances and was just, I don't know, he wasn't potent enough, in his one on ones. It wasn't potent enough to get us that precious second goal that we needed. Manny, what do you give to him?
6. I don't want to give him a 5, but I don't because I don't want to be too harsh. But 6 is really the best I can give him. But I'm sure Tommy might feel comfortable giving him a 5. Maybe you might be giving him a 5. It's thrown back at
Mm.
you, boys.
Yeah. Okay. What do you give to him, Tommy sir? Birthday boy
I'll give him.
tomorrow.
I'll give him
Birthday
a
boy.
5. I'll give him a 5. I'll give him a 6 as well. But I'll give him a 6. But he was poor today, man. Like he needs to fix up, man.
For me, for you to get my 6, it has to be something exceptional too. So I don't know. I give him a 5. He was poor today.
Yeah, he was.
His first touch was good, but you just have to be putting those balls into the net. When you get opportunities like that, you
You
have to
gotta
be
take them.
burying it. And again, you need to be looking at the criticism this guy got before he came into the club. The criticism he was getting was that, hey, you don't score enough goals. How come Arsenal is getting off Aubameyang for a player like you? And again, what I really thought about him was like, he's worked with Pep. He's a serial winner. Of course, his goal tally hasn't really been exceptional, but he's that kind of player that doesn't only score goals but also brings in performances that also translates to goals in terms of like it could be an assist, it could be those deep runs that cuts in from the left and open spaces for players in the right. It could play in the middle very well in the mix. It could be able to have a very very good hold up play and
Yeah,
bring in midfielders and other wide forwards to be able to have their chance and their own shots at goal. That's what Gabriel Jesus can bring to your team. But for the past 3 games, he hasn't been doing this. And particularly today, he needed a goal, just one goal, to, quieten the murmurings here and there. But today, he didn't do that. So the jury is again, back up on his case and looking at him and watching him and his every movement. We'll be keeping a keen eye on that one also. I give him a 5. He was poor today. He didn't take his chances. He didn't necessarily help the team in terms of hold up play. He didn't even have those good high power driving forward that he usually performs usually in the team. His hold up play today was not even something encouraging. So I'm sorry, Gabriel Jesus. I love you, but I'll give you 5 today. Thank you very much. Can I see your face, Manny?
Yep. You can see me.
Yeah.
You can see me. All
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
All
yeah. I
good.
want to thank everyone for coming to the show today. We even still have 5 people in the charts, man. Thanks for not leaving. But today, we've covered everything we need to cover up. Thank you, CFC, AFC Craig
Yeah.
87. Thank you
Speaking
very
of Craig,
much.
he asked a question. What's it with the new number 34? We've waited 7 years. I think with a biblical connection, you've heard of the tale of 7 years of plenty followed by 7 years of famine. Well, we've had 7 years of famine with Shaka, and now we're starting to reap the benefits of
Reap
having
the
plenty, maybe.
benefits. So thank you, Chelsea Dan. If you want Chelsea content, go down to his channel at Chelsea Dan, and subscribe to him. He's a big friend of my show.
Yeah.
Kieran is also a Liverpool fan. He's part of my fan base, and I'm his big fan too. He's a Liverpool guy. He runs a Liverpool channel with some of my friends, Rod, and some other guys like that. Big ups to you, Kieran. Thanks for coming to the show. Amy Baba, thanks for coming to the show, man. You, my brother. Anthony Herbert is a Quest member. Thank you very much for coming to the show. Amy Baba, of course, thanks for coming to the show. BX Gunner, thanks for coming to the show. Every other person, Miss Melina, thank you. Chelsea OG, BX Gunner, Arsenal for Life, Brent, all these guys, Fear of Black London, the Other Time podcast, Fit the Prey, Ran Maguire, who is also my business partner, Tonya Have, CFCOG, Chelsea OG. If you want Chelsea content, go down to his channel. Chelsea OG has lots of good content. Brent James also. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming to the show. Thank you, Manny. Thank you, Tommy C. Happy birthday to you
Thank
tomorrow. I'm
you.
gonna call you tomorrow, my brother. You've been very instrumental to my development here too. Thank you very much, Manny. I can't overstate the
Thanks,
kind of
man.
help you've
Thank
helped
you.
me on this channel, man. Thank you so much, man, brother. God
Always
bless
welcome.
you
Always
in
welcome.
whatever
God
you're
bless you
doing
too.
right
Yeah.
now. I don't know what you got your hands into, but whatever you got your hands into, it's going to work. But where I can tell you that I'm gonna come in is when you open your channel. I'm going to stick my neck out for you because most times I know that you do lots of shifts with many other people. You put in time, you put in energy into all these things. Sometimes you're even very, very tired to even keep going on, but you never at any time tell me no. Instead, you say, "Hey, Anthony, I'll come around." Thank you very much, Manny. God bless you. I really mean
Always,
it.
brother.
God bless
Always,
you.
always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. And I mean, coming on these shows with you and having a debate with you, it's a sort of a blueprint as to how we can come together and sort of
Yeah,
come to a consensus. And that's the way a debate should be. Not so much mindless slagging off people or engaging in ridiculous banter. It's about speaking about different perspectives, different facts, and coming to a conclusion. That's the way a debate should be. And I want to big up Chelsea Dan as well. I know I love going on his channel.
yeah,
He
Chelsea
has a
Dan,
debate.
our big
Obviously,
brother.
yeah, his debate on Monday or whenever he has it in
Look
the
him
week
up,
will
man.
be really good fun. And I'm certainly looking forward to catching up with him again. But any of these debates, as a neutral fan, I'm always happy to be a part of. And
Good.
obviously, as you've mentioned, I'm on several YouTube channels. I don't. I'm still trying to finalize the logistics of what I'm going to do for my own and what I want to what I want it to be. And you will receive full details on that, and I'll make sure
Please
that a lot
count
more
me
people know about it.
100% in.
Yeah. But until then, you can catch me on social media. I'm on Instagram, Manny Thangadurai 1981. On Twitter, it's Thangadurai 1981. And just catch me on all these other channels on YouTube. And big up as well to Tony for having me on. Tommy,
Always.
happy birthday to you, brother. Have a good day
Thank you, bro.
tomorrow.
Thank you, Manny. Thank
And
you, bro.
just enjoy yourself. And also, it has to be mentioned. I mentioned it on Del Boy stream earlier. We must remember the former Japanese international um,
Yeah.
Matsuo Kudo, who passed away
Akira passed
following
away. So rest in peace.
following complications from brain surgery. He was suffering from encephalopathy. 32 is no age to die, but it's another reminder that life is precious, life is short. We never know what we can do until we give it a try, but we also never know how long we have on this earth. However long we have on this earth, we need to make sure that we do our best and leave a mark on this world before the Almighty calls us to be at peace. So let's not have any enmity, animosity towards anyone. Let's big each other up and do whatever we can to make us
True.
make everything better. And
True.
all I can say in addition is peace. Have yourselves a good Sunday, a good weekend. Have a good week ahead. And I'm out for now.
Yeah, thank you very much,
Thank you
Manny,
so
and God
much.
bless you. Football Ferreira, thank you for coming to the show. Big up, brother. He has a channel. He's an FC Barcelona fan. Football Ferreira is also, a great guy too. So you could go subscribe to his channel at Football Ferreira. Thank you, Amy Baba. Thank you, Chelsea Dan. God bless you guys. Tomisa, happy birthday to you.
Thank you, man. Thank
Wishing
you,
you the
guys.
best for tomorrow. I'm
Thank
sorry
you.
Arsenal couldn't give you the win that you
Yeah.
so desired today, but you know what? You can always have a
Thanks a
good
lot,
drink, a good
Arsenal.
beer,
Thanks a lot to
go
Odegaard,
out.
mate. You ruined Odegaard. You ruined my I'm 28 tomorrow. You fucked up my early birthday. Thanks a lot, Odegaard. I'm joking. I'm
but
joking.
no props, man. But happy birthday to you.
Thank you,
I'll
bro.
call you
Thank you.
tomorrow,
Much love,
to check
man.
up
Yeah,
on you
sure,
and know
sure,
how
man.
you're doing. And thank you, everyone. And you can join me tomorrow, where I'm hoping I bring you a very very special guest
Yeah.
tomorrow, which is Monday. So catch you guys tomorrow, 8 to 9 p.m. And on Tuesday with on the Ryan and Claude show, where me and Ryan will be looking
Mm.
deep into everything Arsenal, what happened, and into the Premiership itself, of which he would give his precious banter club of the week. It's my own turn to host Northside LDN on Wednesday. So we'll be having our show Heated Debate. He'll be coming here on Wednesday. On Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be hosting the world famous Deji Spores. After a loss today against Newcastle, Deji might have to cry more tears again on
Mm.
Thursday. Please do join me on Thursday
He needs to
as
get
we help
cooked,
him and
man.
give him a hug on Thursday. And then on Friday,
No
I'll be
cooking,
back here
bro.
with
Needs to get
Manny,
cooked.
where I'll be talking football with him, and doing our usual stuff and causing no more damage on a Friday. And of course, he'll be back here on a post game show with us. So thank you, everyone. And
No
please
problem,
go
bro.
support Manny, support Tommy San wherever they are, and catch you guys next week on Monday. Bye, everyone.
All right.